Things are about to go down in this latest chapter of Record of Ragnarok because once you get Buddha into the state of hatred, the god that represents peace, harmony, tranquility, into rage, hatred, and threaten to kill you right from the spot, you know you're going to be fucked up, especially since we see his new weapon. It is purely badass. Not only that too, but Beelzebub, man. Beelzebub had to start all this bullshit, man. I am not gonna lie. Beelzebub, man, he made the fight interesting, but man, I hate this man because why you gotta do Zero like that? Zero has not done anything wrong, but now we see how Beelzebub mindset is because Beelzebub was the main reason why Zero transformed into Hajin. And we get more information about Hajin's backstory through this chapter because apparently Hajin destroy half of the underworld. According to Hades, Hades informed the other gods that before he took over the underworld, there were two other rulers of the underworld, and they had to deal with Hajin, and Hajin destroyed half of the underworld. And during that panel where they showed Hajin destroying half of the underworld, you just see Hajin looks like he's very incomplete. You could just tell like this being is going to be like destroyed by its own because it seems like he was already created, and the creation of Hajin apparently was not well done. It seems like it was a very uncooked meal that was just being served to you because you could just see him being deposing and just being dissolving and stuff. So while they show that panel, you can just tell that the next scene, Beelzebub is picking up all of the remaining Hajins into his own laboratory, and it seems like he's trying to find a way to have him stable because at that moment, like I said in that panel, it seems like Hajin was unstable while he destroyed half of the underworld. So it seems like Beelzebub, he was trying to figure out like how to make this creature be stable. And the only way to make him be stable is to have a pure soil. Because in the beginning of this chapter, Beelzebub stated that to have something like blossom in a way, it needs to have its purest form to grow. So it seems like what Beelzebub, what he was trying to do was that he got to the point where he got the Hajin to be kind of stable and for it to be 100% stable and complete so he can be entertained while this Blossom Evil can destroy everything that it comes and sees. It needs a pure body. And so who was the most purest body, which was Zero. And we see him going inside Zero's room while he's sleeping. And this parasite Hajin is actually attaching himself into Hero's head. And that's why we see Zero got these horns throughout the whole entire story. And that's what was the true origin of why Hajin appeared. And it was a very interesting telling. And now we can see why Beelzebub made his appearance back in chapter 49, because when we saw in chapter 50, we're just like, okay, how's Beelzebub related to this? And then now with this latest chapter, we're able to see like why it was, because he's the one that caused Zero to transform into Hajin. And most likely Hajin is a creation that Beelzebub had made. And all the other gods like Hades are already speculating that Beelzebub is behind of all of this at this moment in time, because this seems like Beelzebub's character, who always want to experiment and find ways to entertain himself, even though it will cause the destruction of other people. And which is kind of ironic in a way, because while during the fight with Hajin and Buddha, all the gods, they were cheering for Hajin to win and to kill Buddha, not realizing that Hajin is an unstable berserk who is literally going to kill everyone that he sees. So that the fact that the gods, they're cheering for Hajin, they're kind of cheering for the wrong god, because if Hajin wins, he's most likely probably going to kill everyone. But I don't know for sure yet, because remember, they got Odin and they also got Zeus. So those are two powerful gods. But other than that, I did find that was very interesting. I do understand why the gods, they're cheering for Hajin, but at the same time, this is kind of a berserk person that you don't want in your team. But I do understand, because Buddha most likely betrayed the other gods and decided to join with humanity. Now let's focus on the battle between Buddha and Hajin, and things are not looking good for Buddha in the beginning of this chapter, because Buddha, he was getting dog power. Like, bro, like Buddha was getting stabbed, was getting beat up to the point where it was just too much for Buddha. And things were not really looking good, especially since the fact that we already know, and it was clarified, that his right eye is 100% damaged. Like, Buddha is blind because his eye is gone. That eye, that attack literally blinded Buddha, because you can see that Buddha, when he saw the attack went through his shield, he thought that he dodged it. But since Hajin is able to manipulate the movement of the blade, it was able enough to hit Buddha in the eye. And that's why Buddha is only blind with one eye. And at this moment in time, Buddha, he is trying to compose himself together. So he changed his shield into a sword. And then you see Hajin, he's able to change his whole arm just like Zero did. And he was able to change it to an axe/spear, because you can tell, like, by the side of like the arm was an axe, but like going further into it, it looks like a damn spear. So while Buddha turned his weapon into a sword, they both clash towards each other, and to the point where Buddha, he is most likely not getting the upper hand, because Hajin is just way too much for him. On top of that, Buddha can only see with one eye. And so at this moment in time, Buddha, he's trying to convince and try to talk to Zero to help have him, like, get out of it, trying to gain control back to his body. But Hajin just started laughing. And throughout every swing that Hajin was able to do, he just keeps saying, suffer, suffer, suffer. And while he's saying suffering and just laughing at Buddha, he's saying that, oh, that puny God, that worthless God Zero, he's not going to hear you because he's being digested. And at that moment in time, that's when Buddha got pissed. Buddha got 100% angry and pissed off. And this is a dude that you do not want to be pissed off, because out of nowhere, Buddha just had this huge power up, and everyone's just in shock, because this is a side of Buddha that no one ever saw. And this was the hatred. This was what Buddha, he really is showcasing, that he's taking this fight seriously, and he's showing no mercy at all, because he has no love for Hajin. At this moment in time, he just wants Hajin to be gone and defeated. And so we see Buddha was able to transform his weapon into this, beast-like staff, and it was 100% badass. Like, it's 100% like awesome, like the design and everything. And this is his 6th form. So we have one more form left, which most likely we'll probably see in the next chapter. And I do still have faith that Buddha is going to win this fight. So Buddha says, without hesitation, without mercy, I'm going to kill you. And then he summoned his 5th realm, hatred, and it's caused a massive explosion, and you just see this giant beast, Scythe, because towards the end of the beast's head, it comes out a blade. So out of nowhere, Buddha just summoned a Scythe that's able to shoot fire, because it shoot a beam at Hajin, and to the point where Hajin, it didn't damage Hajin, and Hajin just laughing. And at this point, they're both clashing towards each other, and Buddha's handling his own, and they're just tons of fire and just continuously just throwing clashes at each other, because just the amount of impact that this site has. So while this going on, out of nowhere, Hajin was able to stab Buddha in the abdomen, and then he's just straight up laughing, and everyone's in shock, because the fact that Hajin, he's able to stab Buddha, and it seems like this fight is over. But out of nowhere, Buddha says, I will say it again, one more time. If the gods won't save the humans, then I will. If any gods dare to oppose me, I will kill them. And that's the end of the chapter. Man, this chapter was insane towards the end, man. Buddha, he summoned a scythe and is able to throw a blast. Like, that is just 100% badass. But I don't know for sure how Buddha's going to win this, but I do have faith that Buddha's going to actually win and beat Hajin. And the fact that Beelzebub, he was able enough to go ahead and manipulate and try to re-summon Hajin again, and using Zero as one of his puppets was just pure like evil. And it did work, because now we kind of want to see how Beelzebub get his ass kicked when he goes in and fight. But other than that, this was a very good chapter. Let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel. What's your favorite moments? If you guys do like the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and remember, always be decent. This is Monto Man, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.